to the cloud, and we are good to go. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Saturday Style Chat. I am super excited about this week's Style Chat. We are going to have a lot of fun talking jewelry and accessories, and I'm really excited about our special guest that we have. We have Marquis, who is from the Pivot Club, and then we have Liz and Sarita, who are from Nubian Radiance. So here's how these chats work. I am going to check in with everybody, see how everybody's doing during all this COVID-19 stuff. We're going to talk about each of your businesses. I've got some questions for you. And as the people that are watching have questions, you can put the questions in the chat and I can ask them for you, or you can feel free to unmute yourself and ask the questions. It's pretty informal, so feel free to jump in. Just do so respectfully. We lost Sarita. I don't know where she went, but that's okay. So
AOL dial-up.
okay. I'm like, I don't know where she went.
Sorry, I won't press buttons.
But yeah, so that's how we'll get started. So before we start talking jewelry and business and everything, just how are the three of you guys doing with everything that's going on? Marquis, I'll start with you.
Pretty good. Probably like a lot of people, it's like homeschooling your kid while you're trying to work and just trying to balance everything. I think what's the biggest like anxiety is just, you just don't know when this will end. I know they're reopening here I'm based in Texas, outside of Austin. And so they're starting to reopen restaurants and malls and things like that. I have not gone because I'm actually like 7 months pregnant, and I'm like, I just don't want to get any sicker than I've been. So I'm not going.
Oh my gosh. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Exciting. Do you know what you're having?
Yes, a boy.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's exciting.
So Liz and Sarita, how are you guys doing?
Yay!
Oh, we're getting feedback on the phone.
I think it says Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Wait. Yeah. Hold on. There we go. There we go. Okay.
Awesome.
Liz
Okay.
and Sarita, how are you guys doing?
Well, I'm doing okay on this end. I have really been using this time to just build on a lot of things that I said I was going to do, right? So whether it was, doing more, promotion of our business or expanding, different elements of it. I've been doing a lot of that work. Personally, I think one of the challenges for me is a bit of, the anxiety, right? About going out, like normal things like going to the grocery store, or I had to go to the doctors for something, things that would normally just be routine, now have a different level of anxiety, right? And so, like Marquis said, the element of the unknown, how long are we going to be in mask? How long do I have to disinfect my entire life? And so it's been a struggle, but for the most part, I'm okay. And working with Liz, working with you, Erica, it's keeping me grounded, and I'm okay.
Okay, good. Liz, what about you?
Yeah. Definitely echoing what Sarita just said. Professionally with regard to the business side, it's been really good to have kind of that opportunity to take a breath and sort of map out the next, what the next chapter where we want to go, and sort of identify all those different goalposts that we want for our business. Personally, I'm an introvert, so I sort of relish being isolated a little bit, but it started to get old. So that has been challenging. That isolation can be challenging. But as Sarita said, we in constant contact and we try to keep busy, and our community has been so great. So we've been busy, churning out orders and what have you. So that has, kind of really helped keep our mind off this new normal that we seem to be trending toward.
Yeah, I definitely know I had my husband picking up our order from you guys last night.
Yes, thank you.
I like came home and was playing dress up with my new bag and my ring. I feel like a child. I love my hair.
How are you? You and the family, and how?
We're good. It's having a 7-month-old, so our schedules are just based around his schedule, right? So if we're like, okay, you have this 90-minute window during nap time if you want to video chat, or else it's going to be interrupted by a
it's not happening.
So a lot of what I'm doing is just, it's kind of, our lives are like run by this tiny human a little bit right now. But I try to look at the bright side, which is that I get to be home for all of his milestones. And under normal circumstances, I wouldn't be here kind of seeing all that, because I would be at work and he'd be with my mom, really as his caregiver. And so he would be with her and she would be seeing all of this stuff. And so it's been really fun to be home with him and watch him start to connect the words that he's babbling, like, oh, dada means something, or when I say mama, she replies. And he's learning to crawl right now, which is scary. So he's a lot more mobile, because everyone's like, isn't it just like maternity leave? And I'm like, no, because on maternity leave I could put him somewhere and he would stay there. And now he's like all over the place, rolling and everything like that. So I think it's just kind of like finding the balance. And I think the other upside, like you said, is I've been able to focus on my styling business. So because everyone's like stuck at home, it's perfect for me, because they're like, you know what? Let me clean out that closet. Let's talk about my closet. So I was like telling someone, I was like, April was the best month I had had in a very long time.
That's excellent.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I love it.
I'm glad that, relatively speaking, everyone is doing well. So we are going to hop right into this chat, because I am so excited. More and more people are popping in and joining us. So for those of you that are joining us, we're about to start talking jewelry and trends and style. If you have a question, you can go ahead and pop it into that chat feature, or go in the chat and let me know that you want to ask a question on your video, and then I'll unmute you and you can hop on the video and ask your question. But thank you so much for joining us, and I do hope that everyone that's here watching on the Zoom call, watching on Instagram Live, I hope you guys are doing well, that you're staying safe, and I just really appreciate you joining us this morning. So we're going to get started. Because of the business that you ladies are in, you all have your fingers kind of on the pulse of jewelry trends and what's hot and what's coming up. And so what I'd really like for you guys to do is talk to people about your businesses and what you do. So Marquis, I'll start with you, and then Liz and Sarita will turn it over to you guys after.
Okay. Sounds good. Hi, my name is Marquis Map Taylor, and I am the founder of the Pivot Club. It's a jewelry subscription box service catering to busy professional women who they love accessories, but they just really don't have time to shop. And so we curate pieces for them based off of a style quiz. And, once we have that style quiz, ongoing feedback, we're able to curate pieces in their boxes every month. And you can buy pieces out of the box and then return pieces that either you already have something similar or you're not as crazy about. You can return in the prepaid mailer.
Awesome. Thank you. Liz and Sarita, do you want to hop in there?
Sure, I can take this one. All right, so my name is Sarita Collier, and I am one half of Nubian Radiance. My partner, Liz Mugo, she'll be hopping in as well. So Liz and I, we have been friends and sisters for well over 20 years. And one of the things that, it's always been passionate about us. So I am African-American, and Liz is from Nairobi, Kenya. And so over the years, we've talked about, how to bring a piece of home back to Africans, regardless of where they fall in the diaspora, right? And so accessories, design has always been a passion of ours. And so because of those connections international connections that we have, we work with artisans in Nairobi to design and really craft jewelry, statement pieces, or everyday wear for Africans across the world. And so we get those shipped over. And so it really is about working with a community of, artisans, Black artisans specifically worldwide, to get some exposure to their talents, right here in the USA.
Right. And as Sarita mentioned, not only in Nairobi, Kenya, but we have a pretty good, robust group of friends, like who are, internationally based, who are from different countries. So we do also work with people from Nigeria and, Dubai, from a lot of places like around the world. So it's great to leverage those relationships and, as Sarita said, bring that piece of home right here to, whether it's to African Americans, Canadians, to Northern America.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. So that actually is kind of the perfect lead-in to my next question for both of you guys. And I'll start with Liz and Sarita since you guys touched on it first. But I'm really curious as to how you source your jewelry. So for Liz and Sarita, how do you source it for Nubian Radiance and pick the artisans that you're going to work with and decide to sell their products? And then for Marquis, especially because you're building these customized jewelry boxes for people, how are you sourcing your jewelry to go into the boxes?
So again, I think what has helped, one is my tie, to Kenya. So, I don't have to worry about trusting the people that we're working with because they happen to be family. So, so with that, it's a lot of phone calls and just technology has made the world so small. So, we'll be on the phone at 2 a.m. On Zoom calls such as this with artisans in Kenya, like looking over product, making sure that it's meeting the specifications that, we are requiring. And part of our efforts also have to do with helping those artisans bring their machinery, their equipment up to date because the resources are limited. So that's part of our initiative is to empower those artisans that we work with in those partnerships to bring their standards up to, an international level because there's just so much skill. There's so many skilled artisans, but they have different hurdles with, regard to financing, having spaces where they can create these jewelry. So the skill is there, but there are certain pieces that are missing. Helping to provide, we eventually hope to help provide daycare. There's a lot of women artisans that we work with where the hurdles are who's going to take care of the kids while I create these jewelry. So the way we source them is to really get to know what their needs are, what their skill sets are. And because a lot of our international friends thankfully already have these avenues where they also are working in importing and exporting, they have been just a great resource to give us tips to also in this endeavor. They have been just great in helping us with that.
Awesome. That's really good to know. And I actually had never thought about some of the hurdles that your artisans might have, particularly because I've seen the pieces. I own jewelry. We buy it for gifts for people. And so it's such a high quality. It never even occurred to me that those hurdles existed. And I know your business, but I just had never even thought about that. So I really appreciate you sharing that and highlighting that and also figuring out how you can work with your artisans to overcome those hurdles. So Marquis, your business model is totally different. And I also have used Marquis services. So she built me a subscription box and I was totally surprised that she was able to get me after taking a style quiz and a quick conversation. But how do you source your jewelry and your pieces that you're going to pick and put together for these jewelry, these style boxes that really are customized by each of the person that's getting one?
Sure. So I would say our first requirement as a company has been going after brands and vendors who provide hypoallergenic jewelry, meaning that it's nickel and lead free. So like that is our first priority, just because it can actually really have an impact on your body. They've found that if there are high levels of toxins, it can cause potentially cancer and impact your reproductive system. So it's very, very important. Regardless of if you have allergies or not, it's very important for people to know what they're putting on their bodies. And then second, we work with a lot of designers as well as fair trade. We actually do work with a company that's based in Kenya that's a fair trade certified partner. We also work with another company that works with female artisans in India. And so we really are catering to women who, while they are professional, they want to look good, they are also very conscious about their ecological as well as economic footprint. They're not interested in necessarily fast fashion, but high quality jewelry that has an impact in the world. So
that is awesome. I'm super excited about that, and this is great because these just like lead into my next question. So you were talking about how you pick items that are hypoallergenic. That's really important to you. I think we have all had the experience of buying a piece of jewelry and it turns our neck green or our fingers green. I have really sensitive like around my ears and my neck, so I actually get breakouts when things are not high quality. So when people are looking for jewelry, and I think a lot of times we equate something as high quality as being hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars, and I know that that doesn't have to be the case. So when people are looking for quality pieces of jewelry and things that are not going to turn our fingers and necks green, what should we be looking for in those pieces of jewelry?
I feel like it's probably a little bit of extra legwork, but you can't tell by just looking at jewelry whether it's high quality, and that's if it's costume jewelry or fine jewelry. You really should look at that retailer or brand's website and see if they say all of their jewelry is hypoallergenic or at least nickel and lead free. I would say is the best way to know. I also would say brands that offer a warranty and if they really back the pieces that they are selling will also give you an indication that it's a higher quality a collection.
Awesome. Liz, Sarita, do you guys have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I do think it's, like you mentioned, that's true. It depends, know your vendor. So when things are being mass produced, I do feel that at that point you lose a little bit of the quality control and more people cut corners with regard to the material. But if you're working with either directly with the artisans or people who have an intimate knowledge of how the artisans create these pieces, you'll get a better handle. So it's a matter of making sure the person you're sourcing your jewelry from is educated about what they're selling you. And with the green, turning green, that's actually just a natural. It doesn't always necessarily mean that there's something wrong or it has chemicals. Copper does react naturally with your skin. So if your hands are wet, if you wash your hands and you have, for instance, a brass ring or anything really that contains copper, there are chances if you don't dry your hands well that you're going to get that green ring, but it's not toxic. It's not, going to make you sick. It's just the way, naturally, copper is a very porous metal, and so it does react with your skin. So just a little FYI with the green stuff. So you can always coat it with a little bit of nail polish, or these actually liquids out there that help to coat that, or better yet, buy something that's coated in platinum or silver, pure gold, if you have really hypersensitive skin. So
I definitely agree with that. If you can get things that are, gold plated, that can help, or silver plated, or rhodium, which is very good as well.
Awesome. I always learn something new on these style chats, and so that is something new that I didn't realize it didn't mean you got like a bad piece of jewelry. It just
Right.
had to do with the material. I just thought it meant it was like cheap and poorly made and time for me to toss it out. So that is a really good tip to know. And I just want to remind everyone on the chat and in our Instagram, if you have questions, you can go ahead and put them in the chat. You can put them in the Instagram live comments, or I've pasted the link to the Zoom if you want to hop into the Zoom call and ask your questions there. So now we all are here because we're stuck at home. We're having 1,000 million Zoom calls a day. Like yesterday, I had a Zoom call that was like an hour and a half, and I was like, I'm not doing any more work. I'm boycotting work for the rest of the day. I've had Zoom calls every day for like the last 3 weeks. I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm tired of it. I'm over it. But because we're on Zoom, people are seeing us from here up. Our jewelry, what we're looking like, you know, it's more important, I feel like, because normally you have a whole outfit to make a statement, and we don't have that anymore. You've just got your jewelry. So I really want to talk about what are the pieces of jewelry that you think everyone should have in their jewelry collection. And maybe I'll start with Sarita and Liz, and then we'll pop over to Marquis.
All right, I'll take this one, Liz. So actually did some thinking about this one in particular. So one of the things that we think is important to have is a pendant necklace, right? So, you know, it could be a light rope chain, something small, but the pendant is the statement, right? It'll, you know, the rest of the necklace will blend into your skin. That looks really good, you know, with like nice scoop neck tops, like just really nice classic pendant necklaces. Another one is a good statement necklace, right? So I tend to go big, right, with my statement necklaces. But, you know, you want, sometimes when it's time to turn that head, right, you know, you want a piece that's going to draw folks to you. Another one is a good timepiece, right? So watches are not dead, right? So a nice, you know, weighty piece that, you know, was really going to, I always say, you know, make a statement, but a really nice classic watch is nice as well. Studs. Every woman needs some really nice studs. So whether, you know, people say diamonds are forever, it doesn't have to be a diamond. It could be, you know, whatever, you know, stone that you like, or just a really nice, you know, classic pretty stud that you can rock, you know, with some jeans, or you can rock with a suit, right? So you need something like that. Let's see, a nice hoop. Every woman should have a really nice hoop. So whether it is, you know, a gold hoop or a silver hoop, I think every closet needs to have one of those, as well as a nice, you know, statement bracelet, or, you know, a nice ring. So it could be depending on your style, right? And so wherever you like to make the statement. So I tend to be more of a bracelet person, but not necessarily much of a ring person. And so Liz and I are exactly opposite, right? And so where she likes big statement rings, I tend to go bigger with my bracelets. So did you have anything to add to that, Liz?
No, I have all those, and I believe all those are important. And a statement piece should be whatever is a statement to you. Some people don't like necklaces, so it might be a statement earring, it might be a statement ring, or a statement bracelet. Just everybody needs a statement piece, a conversation piece in their collection.
Sure. Marquis, what do you think?
Sure, I definitely agree with quite a few of those things. Hoops are just so classic. Like, I guess I have some on now. I mean, just years and years, and like, it just never goes out of style. You just can't go wrong with like a nice pair of hoops. I would also say pearls, for work, for, you know, even going out, like, it's just something that is just also timeless. Studs, she mentioned diamonds. Love those too, and those are always classic. You can go out with them or go to work with them. Another thing that I typically am always wearing, like, I don't know if you can see it, it's like a nameplate. I've had this since I was like 16, and I constantly get compliments on it, and it's like, those never go out of style either. So those are just a few things that I always have and wear and think anybody can get away with.
That is awesome. So I do have a question from the audience for you guys. And then I know I sent you guys some prepped questions, but I'm going to throw a curveball at you after the audience question. But it'll be an easy curveball, I promise. So one of our viewers wants to know, what is a good earring for a mom? She loved hoops. And she had dozens, but she can't wear them because her son pulls them out. But she feels naked without her hoops. So what is a good alternative for her?
I mean, I think the studs, like we said, I mean, then he can't like pull these, you know? So I would definitely say studs.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, a stud. And you know, people sleep on clip-ons. There are some great like clip-on, because that way when your baby, you know, pulls at that, you know, you're not going to be left with damage in your ear. So, you know, if she wants to step it up a little bit, she's maybe going for a special occasion, maybe look into finding some nice clip-ons that don't hang too long, but still, you know, if she wants something with a little bit more oomph.
That's a great tip. I hadn't even thought about the clip-ons, but you're so right. I use clip-ons when there's like a style that I'm not 100% sold on and I don't want to commit to it yet. So like when, you know, like the big chandelier earrings were, you know,
Right.
like a thing. And I was like, I don't know if I want to invest real money in it yet. So I bought like a couple of clip-ons to see how I felt. And then I was like, oh, okay, these work. Those are legit.
Right.
So that's actually like a great tip. I know that baby pull in your jewelry life. So the other thing I would suggest to you is that they do make jewelry. I don't know how they do the earrings. The earrings may be clip-ons, but like I know necklaces and bracelets, they actually make different jewelry that has like a snap instead of like a latch. So if your baby pulls it, it just like unsnaps. And also, some of them are actually made of materials that the baby can like chew on and teeth on, and it's not going to be damaging to the baby. So that's another thing you could look at too, is some jewelry like that, that if it gets yanked in the same way a clip-on is just going to come off, it'll come off without your baby breaking a necklace or breaking a bracelet or something like that. So here's the curveball I'm going to throw at you guys, but it's an easy curveball. You guys are all wearing some fabulous pieces of jewelry right now while we are here talking. And I would just love each of you to walk us through what you're wearing, because, you know, I see gorgeous necklaces and good earrings, and like I don't wear hoops, but I'm looking at Marquise and I'm like, okay, maybe I need to, like, you guys are saying I need hoops in my jewelry collection, and I'm looking at hers, I'm like, oh, hers are classy, they don't look tacky, you know, I'm like, those aren't like the bamboo earrings, at least 3 pair, I could do that. So I want y'all to just walk us through the jewelry that you're wearing right now, and we'll start with Marquise and then hop over to Liz and Sarita. You can close us out.
Okay. Sure. So these are, and I have them here too, if it's easier to see. So these are hoops by, she's actually a US-based designer, Betty Carrere, but she's from Brazil and produces all of her jewelry in Brazil. And I love her because you talked about pulling. All of her jewelry is super lightweight. What she does is she hollows out inside the jewelry, so it's completely light and won't pull and like create that bigger piercing hole. And it's all, like I said, nickel and lead free, and it's 18 karat gold plated. So love her. This is from one of the fair trade partners I was mentioning before. Their name is Bawa Hope. They're based in Kenya. And it's brass, and I love this just because it's kind of like a modern look, and I love chokers, so yeah.
Great. Liz, what are you wearing?
I'm wearing, they're just a double hoop. These are made by one of our artisans. Her name is Juliana. And the choker, I'm being extra, so I'm carrying this too, is also made by Juliana. It's just, you know, and as you mentioned, I love brass just because of the, you know, malleability of it. So, you know, you can spread it and squeeze it and, you know, just make it frame your neck as needed. My nails, we also do florals, so I don't have my nails done because we're working on Mother's Day florals. But this ring is Brian, also brass from Kenya. And I have a kind of like an animal print cuff, and this is by Moaz, also in Kenya, with a batik design on it.
Awesome. Sarita?
All right. So the bib necklace that I'm wearing, this is multicolored thread. It's from an artist named Sharon in Nairobi. And my earrings, you heard Liz mention a name called Moaz. It's actually bone. And so these are drop earrings from Moaz as well. So Juliana, one of our favorite artisans as well, young mother, but she made this turquoise T-bar bracelet. Like Liz said, it's very malleable. You can open it and close it, and it fits pretty much any size ring. And because Liz and I are sisters and we think alike, I'm also wearing the long ring from Brian.
That's awesome. I don't remember seeing those earrings on your live the other day, but now I want them. So I'm like, so Marquis, I'm gonna need those hoops in my next box. So I need those earrings. And I'm actually, so my earrings are from Bawa Hope, which Marquis was talking about, but in my box, she sent me these earrings and a ring from Bawa Hope that I ended up keeping out of my subscription box. And I have been like wearing these to death, and it's really funny because I'm normally like in 98% of the time I wear studs, and that's like it. But once I got these and added them to the rotation, I have been wearing them all the time. They look really nice on conference calls, so people are always like, ooh, those are cute earrings, where'd you get them, kind of thing. And then I have a ring from Sarita and Liz, which they go live on Facebook like once a week, right?
Yes, just Wine Down Wednesday.
Yeah, okay, Wine Down Wednesday. I don't have my wine last time either. It's funny, so Sarita pulled these ring out, and my husband and I were watching from opposite sides of the room, but both watching the live at the same time. And literally you pull this out and I'm like typing to Liz, like, I want this because I want to pick it up. And as I'm typing, saying I want to buy it, my husband's like, oh, that's a very you ring. So it's destined to be in my house, in my possession. I don't remember who the designer is of this ring, so if one of you guys wants to hop in.
That's Juliana.
Okay. So they go live, and I probably need to stop watching the lives because I end up buying something every time.
Please don't.
No, don't stop. Keep buying. If you show those earrings, I'll buy those this Wednesday. And it was funny because when I got my first subscription box, like I was telling my husband, like I wanted to buy everything, and he literally was like, you can't buy everything from every box because you're always going to buy something from every box she sends you. You're not going to have any money. And I'm like, I know. I feel like I'm saving all this money on gas, and now I'm just buying like jewelry.
Right. I feel like that's the thing though. Now that you're home all the time, you can like shop more.
Yeah.
Amazon is addictive, so.
Yeah. I'm on a first name basis with the FedEx.
I know.
Guy.
I actually had an Amazon delivery guy go, you order a lot of stuff. I'm like, take my package.
Judging me. Why are you judging my life?
Right.
Don't worry about what's happening over here.
Right.
Yeah, in our house, like the running joke yesterday was like, congratulations, you made it a whole week without a Target drive-up order. So I was like, oh, I need this from Target. And it'll be something stupid. I'll be like, the baby needs more socks. Let me just do a Target drive-up.
Right.
So that I can get some
it makes you feel good.
Put on some real clothes. But yeah, but we have Amazon boxes coming, I think, every day for like the next 6 days. So
yeah,
hey.
Sounds right.
Awesome. Well, just a reminder, you guys, pop in your questions into the chat if you have them. I want to talk with you ladies about jewelry trends. One, again, because we're all sitting on video staring at each other all the time. But then hopefully one day we will be allowed back outside. And so I want to know, what are the trends for the summer coming up? What are the trends that we can expect to see? What things are you guys starting to see right now that are going to be hot? And anyone can answer, sorry.
Sure, I could start. So some of the things I wanted to kind of talk about were, one, gold is still like the preferred, or the gold tone is still like the preferred color most people want to buy and wear. And also compared to silver. Some of the trends I've been seeing are just more like pearls, but in different ways. So like, this is just an example of like a bracelet that has like a string of pearls attached. But I've seen pearl earrings, pearl hoops, pearl ear jackets. Like, there's a lot of different ways people are wearing pearls right now that I think will carry into the summer. I've also seen a lot of like, and I think I said this to you, Erica, but like a lot of big chains with charms.
You did.
People are going crazy and layering them.
Yeah, you sent it to me and my husband was like, no, because you have 35 things that look like that. You were spot on, but it was like, I can't add another thing like that to the collection.
Exactly. So that's definitely, I think, a continuing trend in the summer. And then I feel like earrings wise, like how the earrings I sent you, just having different like shapes. And so here's like an example of what has been selling really well for us. Just
Wait,
different
I don't know
shapes.
if you can see, but Sarita's in love with those earrings.
Oh yeah.
I would like throw something at you. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So, a lot of different shapes. This is another one that's kind of different. These are kind of like studs, but like these look really cool. And I've actually seen these on like a Netflix show. Like the lady was wearing them, and I was like, oh my god, I have those earrings. But yeah, and then I would say rings. I've been kind of investing more in rings that are like adjustable, just because people have obviously different sizing. So like just rings like that. It looks very actually similar to your ring a little bit, but you can adjust it like whatever size you need it to be.
I like that.
So those are some of the things that I've been seeing. And of course, you know, a little bit of color. I haven't invested as much in things with color. I think people have a hard time like matching things with like statement pieces that have lots of color to it. They love it, but it's like, then it's like, well, Marquis, how do I wear this? Or, so I would suggest, so as an example, here are some earrings that have like a little bit of color, but everybody has navy in their closet. It's easy to match up with outfits, things like that. So those were just a few things.
So before Sarita and Liz go, Neek has said Marquis, she needs that necklace in her life and also that ring too. So what I'm actually doing for everyone in the comments while they're explaining, I am going to paste where you can find Marquis and Sarita and Liz so that you can go visit their website, you can join the jewelry subscription service, you can check out everything so you know exactly where to get all these good finds. And now you understand why when I see the things, I buy all of the things. So Sarita, Liz, what are you guys seeing from a trend standpoint?
As you know, to continue what Marquis had said, seeing a lot of color, a lot of like bold, a lot of those fall runways had really bold punches of color. And, you know, for anybody who's intimidated by wearing color, I think the most important thing is if you want to wear something bold, like for instance, Sarita has like a lot of like bright colors, is to pair it with, you know, a nice simple one color sundress, or a cute white tee and some jeans. That's how you can sort of embrace that trend with the really bold. So there's a lot of like bold punches of like bright pinks and bright blues. And then the going back to the hoops, there's been that made another resurgence. Oversized hoops are in, not the bamboo kind, but like really nice, different oversized hoops. We saw a lot of animal print jewelry. There's like you'll notice a lot of, whether it's in resin or with stone, there's a lot of animal print type of like statement jewelry. That's one of the things that was in Gucci and a lot of like the runway models. One of the things that we noticed a lot of is the layering, where they take like two really bold pieces, they layer them, and then you wear something that's a little, has a little less frail, and that becomes the conversation piece. So that's the only thing I think I had to add to what I've seen as trends. But then it's also important to remember, one of the things in terms of more of like the Black ethos culture is I've seen kind of a harkening back, like in the 70s, where there was that with the bold hair and the bell bottoms. There's that kind of going back. So a lot of like beaded jewelry, turbans, I believe, are an accessory. So it's so great to start seeing those sort of come back and shape that, I would say, cultural trend.
Yes.
Is kind of what I see with that, is sort of a very different, a very unique style with regard to the Black, brown community.
Sarita, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Liz, did you say choker necklaces by any chance?
Oh yeah, there was choker. Yeah, I saw choker.
Yeah, as you are wearing, definitely. One way, I'm seeing more and more of those. It's just a beautiful, accent, just to a really, a simple outfit, but just to have your choker out, really, really nice. So, Liz, your neck looks fabulous, darling.
Yeah, Liz and Marquis both have chokers on, so yeah.
I do.
Just so you guys know, in the group chat, I did paste websites, Facebooks, Instagrams, again, so you can go follow Marquis, Liz, and Sarita, and so that you can check out all of their stuff. And I won't be the only one buying everything. I'm not the only one buying everything. Like every time I see something, I'm like the earrings, Marquis, and then that pearl bracelet. I'm like, oh, I hope she puts both of those in my next box.
Hint.
I'm telling you next. I'm like, I know you're the expert and you're supposed to tell me what should go in the box, but I'm telling you what goes in the box.
It's very helpful. It's very helpful.
I actually really thought that the pearl bracelet was cool. And, and you guys talking about hoops coming back, I'm like, okay, I'm going to step out of my comfort zone. Really
I feel like that's why, I guess I also started it. I feel like sometimes we can get into ruts a little bit, like wearing, like how I mentioned the nameplate, I could easily wear that every day of the week. And so I think it is helpful to like kind of push yourself out of like what you would normally wear jewelry wise. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're so right about the turbans. Especially now because people are like, can't get to their hair appointments. I was dyeing my hair at home last week trying to cover up these grays. I have bought more headbands and head wraps in the last 8 weeks that I've probably ordered my whole life. So, yeah, I think that's a really good point too, that people are starting to buy that and having to come up with creative ways to accessorize as it's longer and longer between these sort of, but we didn't know were essential to us until we couldn't have them anymore.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Service
Exactly.
is. Even I had an esthetician and a makeup artist on 2 weeks ago, and I was like, okay, you have to walk us through how do we take care of our eyebrows. Can't get them. I was like, I'm at the point where I'm just gonna shave mine off and start all over again.
Right.
I don't know what to do.
Like, don't do that.
You know, it's all the stuff that you don't think about. Like,
You don't think
having
about.
to do my own
Right.
pedicure. I haven't done my own pedicure since I was in college. I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah, I think this is just so great and so helpful. And actually, the choker conversation brings me to something that I want to talk about, which is jewelry for different body shapes. So I know when I am styling different women and working with them, I have a specialization in working with curvy and plus size women.
Okay.
And a lot of times they like to argue me down about what they can and can't wear. And it's really that they can't wear something, it's that they won't wear something. You know, or they'll say, well, I can't wear a choker because it's just going to make my neck look bigger. And I'm like, no, we get a choker that fits you in the right size. And it's not going to make,
It's not going to make your neck
bigger.
look
Right.
You know. And so I really want to talk about probably like two of the biggest questions that I get. And so the first question that I usually get a lot is, can bustier women wear statement jewelry, particularly statement necklaces? And the reason that I have a lot of curvy women and busty women who won't wear it is because they feel like it adds more weight to this area. So what do you guys say?
Liz, you want that one?
Sure. You know, I don't know if you know, I don't think so. I think it's all about scale. Like everything, you know, it's very relative. You know, and it's about paying attention to balancing. You know, if you can be plus size, but you can be, you know, marginally petite up top, and you know, you can have the pear shape. So I think it's all about balance and you know, recognizing. So if you're bustier and your bust is kind of sitting up, you don't want something that, you know, projects. You probably want something that drapes, you know. So I think it's all about like finding a balance. It's not that you can't wear statement jewelry, it's just about finding, yeah, that balance. But anybody can wear statement jewelry.
Marquise, Sarita, do you guys have anything to add to that?
No, I definitely agree. I feel like actually you're when you have a bigger bust or bigger, you actually have more bandwidth to wear bigger statement pieces, and I would actually avoid daintier things that might be like harder to notice. So I you know, especially if you're going out, I think it also just depends on the occasion, how you're wearing your hair. There's a lot of factors that go into which pieces work, but I think you're actually in a better position than someone, say, who is petite, to wear bigger statement pieces.
Yeah, I totally agree. As a stylist, I'm always like, nope, you have the space to do it. We just, like Liz said, you work to balance it out. So you may not have something like right up on your neck, but something that is right here and makes more of a statement. And yes, as a big chested woman, sometimes dainty pieces get lost or they swing to the side. And I like dainty jewelry, but if anyone pays close attention, I wear dainty jewelry when I have a V-neck and I tuck it inside, instead of like wearing it out where it's just swinging all over the place. So you can definitely do it, or wear dainty jewelry in other places. So I wear like a lot of dainty rings and things like that. But that's good. And then the other question I get a lot is like, how can tiny women wear big jewelry and not get swallowed up by the jewelry? That's the other question that like I get a ton as a stylist, and I obviously have thoughts, but I'd love to hear what you guys think. And maybe we'll start with you this time, Marquis.
Sure. I mean, I feel like when you're, again, it kind of depends on like your body shape. So if you have a bigger bust, I would say it's the same advice if you're, you know, petite as well. But I would think that you'd want daintier pieces because now you can get away with them since you're on the smaller side. But again, I think Liz mentioned about scale. It's all about scale and seeing how it works with your body shape.
I agree.
Right. Yeah. And, and then, small can mean you can be, petite, pretty small framed and 5'2". You can also be small framed and 6 feet tall. So, so again, it all depends. If you're very, petite and short, maybe your statement is to take a couple of pieces and layer them until you get to, the level of statement you're trying to make. So I don't think, I am really of the adage that there are really no true hard rules in fashion. Your biggest fashion accessory is confidence. You can wear the most beautiful statement piece, but if you, walk without that confidence of the piece that you're wearing, it won't really matter whether, you're plus size or petite, you're not going to be able to pull it off. So I think it's wearing what you feel confidently you can pull off.
I think that is such a good point. And I just want to highlight Liz saying you can layer your jewelry. I think that's like one of the most underrated style tools for people, is they don't think about layering jewelry in the same way they layer clothes. But it's a really easy way to make a cool statement. So you can layer necklaces of different lengths to get a different look. You can layer or stack bracelets. So I felt a little guilty when Sarita said we all needed a good timepiece, because I have a couple of watches, but I never wear them. But when I do wear them, I usually will wear a watch and a couple bracelets, and I'll stack everything together.
Mm-hmm.
You can stack your rings. I mean, it's very on trend to wear multiple rings on your fingers and things like that. But I think that's an underutilized style tool that people don't think about, because most of us think about our jewelry in the same way we think about our clothes, and most people think about their clothes and outfits, which is why they feel like they never have anything to wear, is because once they put an outfit together, they only think they can wear the clothes that way. And we do the same thing with our jewelry. We think, okay, this necklace goes with these earrings and this bracelet, and now I can't mix and match it. Instead of saying, let me mix and match materials, let me mix and match colors, let me, do different things. If you, put 2 different earrings in and see what happens and that sort of thing. And so I would say an easy way to refresh your jewelry wardrobe is to start mixing and matching and layering, because then you don't have to buy new things all the time, although buying new things is fun too.
Right. Agreed.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I just said I agree. Absolutely agree.
So I just want to remind everybody, if you guys have more questions, if you have questions about even the jewelry that they were kind of showing you, if you want to ask them how they would wear it or style something, or how I would style something, drop it in the chat box, and we'll be happy to answer questions. So the next question I have, and I sent this to you ahead of time because I didn't want you to be blindsided by this question, but obviously for me as a stylist, when I'm working with people, I am styling their clothes, but also thinking about their accessories and what goes with it. And a lot of times people do not know what kind of jewelry to wear with specific necklines. And I think a lot of times when we see someone and they're dressed and maybe something seems like a little bit off or not quite right, it's not the outfit, but it's how they've accessorized it. So what I want to do is I will talk to you guys about necklines, and I'll kind of explain the neckline for our viewers who may not know the technical terms for different necklines, because why would you? It's not something everyone just knows, but I'll explain it. And then what I would love for you guys to do is talk about the types of jewelry that go with those different types of necklines. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Yeah, sounds
cool. So the first neckline we're going to talk about is a scoop neckline. And for those of you that don't know what a scoop neckline is, it's really just like that rounded neckline. So if you think about your t-shirt, your underwork tank top or something that you might be wearing, that's a scoop neckline. So it's just that round neckline that goes like this. So what kind of jewelry is really going to work with a scoop neckline?
I think for a scoop neckline, you want something that sits above the neckline. So whether it's a chunky necklace or a bib necklace, you know, because I'm wearing a scoop neck right now, right? That kind of sits above that neckline. I think that really highlights a scoop neck.
Awesome. Marquis, Liz, do you have anything to add?
No, I agree. I could see, you know, chokers, just things where it's a couple inches above the bust for necklaces. And then I would say you could easily pair it with hoops. Again, I think it still depends on how you're wearing your hair for earrings in the outfit, but yeah.
I think to Marquis' point, you know, for all of this, I think it's really important to consider, you know, the appropriateness, right? So where you're going, what type of event, like you said, your hair, because this can all go drastically wrong, you know, if you apply it across the board. So yeah, to consider, you know, the time, the place, the event, and, you know, start there, even before you get into what kind of line is it.
Awesome. So the next neckline I want to talk about is a V-neck, which is exactly what it sounds like, that V-neck that goes here. And you can have a higher V-neck like our t-shirts, or you can have a deep V-neck. So let's talk about how you would style both of those, a high V-neck and a low one. And anyone can jump in.
Sure. I mean, I think that's an opportune time to layer, how you had mentioned, layering various lengths necklaces. I think that's a great opportunity. Choker, which you see I'm wearing now. So I think those are probably great things to do. I've also done long necklaces with a V-neck, like a pendant. It just depends on where it sits. Usually I try to, if it's long enough, like it's almost hitting like my stomach basically, like, so I think V-necks are pretty versatile in terms of like which type of necklaces to go with.
Yeah, I agree. I've also found that with V-necks, finding if you want to wear something that's more of like a drop necklace, maybe something that has gemstones, following that V seems to work pretty well. Having that double V with some skin showing also looks really good.
I totally agree. I like to pair Y necklaces with it too, which is that same idea of like it goes and follows that same V line. The other thing, if you're wearing a V-neck and it's more dressy and it's kind of like a deep V and it's sexy, the other thing you can think about is wearing your hair up, skipping a necklace entirely and wearing a statement earring, because it'll balance out everything, but having that uninterrupted deep V is actually going to elongate your body. So if you're thinking about making your body proportional, if you have no interruption when you're when you're showing this, it's actually going to make you look a little bit taller. So that's just a stylist tip there, is that you can skip a necklace and do like a bolder earring, but make sure your hair is up. If your hair is down, normally if you wear too heavy of an earring with your hair down, like it weighs everything down. So I would say if your hair is up, try a statement earring and just let your neckline and your cleavage and your décolleté, like let all that okay, so the next neckline we're going to talk about is a sweetheart neckline, which, if I'm honest, it's my least favorite neckline. I don't know why.
I do.
I do.
I agree.
So, I don't like it. I don't like it. Like when I was wedding dress shopping, I was like, "Don't even bring me a sweetheart neckline." Sweetheart, but some women it looks fabulous on that, right? But a sweetheart neckline it's exactly what it sounds like. It's like cut like a heart, right? Yeah, I don't like it because it says like all this is neck up. But if you're wearing a sweetheart neckline, what the jewelry that was.
So it's so funny you say that. When I saw sweetheart on the thing, I was like, you can say don't. But then again, we don't tell people what to wear. But I would say with those, maybe focus on your earrings, since you do have a lot going on, or maybe like a small pendant. But yeah, because sweethearts already have a lot going on, maybe focusing on your earrings if you choose to wear one.
Yeah, I associate sweetheart necklines with being a bridesmaid, which is not my favorite. Perhaps that's where my negative association comes from.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say for me, I say none, even studs and, depending on how detailed the sweetheart neckline is, but maybe some studs or nothing.
Marquis, do you agree or do you have a different?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree that you can either keep this part bare since you already have all of, your chest open. And then, or concentrating on just having really fabulous chandelier earrings. I could see that too.
Oh, I think that would be cute.
Mhm.
All right, we're gonna make the sweetheart neckline cute. We're all
One way or another.
Right.
So the next thing I want to talk about is a turtleneck. And here's why. Because I feel like people don't take advantage of the blank canvas that a turtleneck is.
Okay.
And so I really would love for you guys to give some ideas on how to style like that high turtleneck, high neckline. And again, anyone can jump in.
I rarely wear turtlenecks as a busty woman because I kind of feel like it looks like I've got something resting on my chest. I'm just always conscious. It's just not a. But I do, on the rare occasion that I do, I do find like a long necklace with like a lower pendant seems for me like to work best. Something that has a pretty delicate chain. It can't nothing chunky. Seems to when I do wear that under a blazer is I think the best way I've found. But typically I will not really wear a necklace. If I do, I'll go with earrings, just earrings.
Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty much the same. I don't typically wear turtlenecks. Probably doesn't, now being in Texas, I don't have to. But yeah, I agree about having maybe more of a long pendant and under a blazer. I feel like whenever I've done turtlenecks, I usually have like a nice, like kind of either bright or, because usually I'll do like a black or a brown blazer and then have like something that's coordinating like a, is it like herringbone kind of pattern or some kind of patterned like blazer with it. And then that's more of the statement versus like the jewelry necessarily. But yeah, my own.
Sarita, do you have thoughts?
I'm trying to think if I have anything to add. I agree with both of you. Definitely something longer. I own one turtleneck. And when I do wear that one turtleneck, it is typically a long necklace, and it actually has like charms at the base. But yeah, I typically wear a blazer with that.
So I'm gonna like 1000% disagree with all three of you because I feel like a turtleneck is sort of like if you were, yeah, Angela, I see your question. I'm gonna ask that in a second. It's almost like if you had your skin in like nothing, like it's a blank canvas to me. So like the necklace Sarita has on now, I would wear that with a turtleneck. I would like rock that out. I would put it on with a turtleneck, like just like a black turtleneck, a white turtleneck, something really plain, and let that necklace do all of the talking for me.
Okay.
Like I get what you guys are saying. Like if you're laying it with a blazer or doing something else, like I wear my turtleneck with like my faux fur vest all the time, and then I will wear like long pendants. Like I have this thing of like 30 pearl necklaces that I'll like put on with it, but I think if you're just gonna wear, like if you're confident enough to just wear that plain turtleneck by itself, you could totally wear a necklace like what Sarita's wearing with it, or really choose to make a big statement with your necklace or a big statement with your earrings. So I agree with you guys, but I also disagree with you guys.
I accept that challenge. Next
Yes,
winter.
I like that too. You've given me something to
Definitely
think
did the
about.
turtleneck challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even Liz's choker, you could put that on. I know. Well, we could wear it today with this nor'easter that's out here on the east.
Oh my
Right.
gosh, it's so cold. It's so cold.
But yeah, even the necklace that Liz has on, that choker, you could put it on the outside of your turtleneck and tie your hair up in that same turban and like be on your way and look and style it, throw on a pair of jeans and like be out the door. So I have a question for Sarita. Someone, Angela would like to know if you can show us the bright hoop earrings again.
Oh, let's see. What did I do with them? Angela, give me 1 second.
Okay, well, while she's finding those bright hoop earrings, I'll bring up our last neckline that we can talk about while she finds those earrings. So the last neckline is strapless. So whereas a sweetheart kind of dips, and that's why a lot of us feel like everything is hanging out, a strapless is going to be, you're not going to have straps, but it's going to go straight across here. So what kind of jewelry would you do with a strapless? Or would you do the same thing you do with a sweetheart? And anyone can jump in.
With strapless, I love a good bold piece with a strapless, and I think it's because of that linear, that kind of straight line. It gives you kind of like more autonomy, whether it's something that's drop or it's like a choker. I feel like both style, it depends on what the strapless item is. Is it a sundress? Is it an evening dress? Is it a bustier? But I feel like, chokers, or again, something that has like a nice drop above, that gives you that there's some real estate in between that piece and where your necklace falls is great. And if you have nice toned shoulder, or not, if you have a nice, chest area, a little bronzer and a nice earring might be all you need.
I love that. Sarita or Marquis, do you have anything to add there?
I was looking for said earrings.
That's fair. That's fair.
No, I agree with Liz. I feel like it's an opportunity, either depending on how you're shaped. Like she said, a nice bronzer and then great like chandelier earrings would be perfect. I feel like it depends on how broad your shoulders are. I have broad shoulders, so I actually typically avoid strapless. Yeah, I mean, I could see like necklaces or chokers that are above your chest, and so you still have some skin showing along here. So
awesome. So now the $1 million question. Sarita, did you find the
Found one.
Mm.
So, we have, tons of these, but, again, we talked about, big hoop earrings. And so, as we mentioned earlier, so we like to call it Afro chic. And so again, it's using, bright Ankara fabric. So we have huge studs. These come in different patterns. We also have some that, kind of fan out a bit. So it's a different take on the big hoop, adds a bit of pop of color and allows you to rep your Afro chic pride at the same time.
And how much are those?
I believe these are 20.
Okay, and they're on your website, right?
Tomorrow.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
It's a brand, right?
So here's what I'm gonna do. I pasted everyone's website, Facebook, and Instagram again.
Perfect.
So go onto their website tomorrow to buy those earrings.
Tomorrow.
Or I'm sure if you hop on their Facebook and send them a message that you want them, Liz and Sarita will take care of you and make sure, because like I said, they go live and I'm just in the comments like, I want that, please add it to my order. So I'm sure if you send a message, they'll figure it out, they'll work with you. Make sure that you can get it. But if not, you can go on their website tomorrow and they'll be there.
Yeah, we got a huge shipment, and between doing the Facebook lives. And as I say, the community has been just amazing. Processing like those orders. We are literally still going through our spring shipment to, get it cataloged, do all the quality checking, and then, photograph it for the website. So still going through that process, but at the same time, through our lives, we're able to give people sneak peeks as we open the boxes that we are going through right now.
Right.
Yeah. No, I think that's awesome. I think that's actually like a really smart thing to do. Because y'all were opening the box, not this past one, but the one before, and I was like, "That's my bag. Just set it aside. I'll be taking that." And we had already talked about it, and so she was like, "When the next shipment comes in," I was like, "Oh, that one's mine. Don't tell them." So I think it's really smart. And I think you guys have been super busy with Mother's Day, but I think both of you guys actually have products that make great gifts for people. So if there are people that are still looking for Mother's Day presents or different things, I think the jewelry subscription service, I'm like, I think people don't necessarily go out with the intention of buying jewelry. I think you see it and you're in a store or you're watching on Instagram or Facebook and you're like, "Oh, that's cute, I want that." But you don't necessarily go out with the intention of buying jewelry. And I love the idea of the subscription service because you can get that jewelry, you can get that refresh to your wardrobe, and I think you can do a monthly subscription and then or go quarterly if you want to, right? So you can get that little update and that refresh and stay seasonally on trend. And I do like it because it does push you out of your comfort zone. I told you guys, like, these earrings are not something I would ever buy, and like if I saw them in a store I just keep going, but then I saw them, I'm like, that's different. I'm going to give these a shot. I'm going to try them. And now they're like, I wear them all the time, probably at least like 3 times. And so I think that's really great. So if you have a mom or a sister or an auntie or a play mom or a godparent that, you want to get something for Mother's Day, like that's a really thoughtful gift. And then, like I said, every time I see something from Sarita and Liz, I'm like, I want that. I want this. And I think that they have, great stuff too, and such a great story behind what you guys are doing. So I think, like I said, I pasted all the links in the chat for you guys. Do you guys have any other questions? Are there any other pieces that you want them to show you again so you can see them? Do you have jewelry that you want styling ideas for? I think that was such a great question about what can you wear as a mom, because especially when you have tiny humans that are grabbing and chewing and pulling on everything, that starts to be important. Like my son almost broke a necklace I was wearing the other day, and I was like, "Oh, you can't wear that." Not for a while. And you don't necessarily like think about that until you're in that position. So does anyone have any other questions? And I'll give you guys a second to type in there. And then while they're typing, is there anything else that you guys want people to know about your services or what you guys are doing or what we should look out for from you guys? And I guess maybe I'll throw it to Marquis and then to Sarita and Liz.
No, just if you have any questions, you can contact me. Again, we really focus on hypoallergenic jewelry, but also really curating the experience to that person. Outside of just the style quiz, having ongoing conversations and dialogue. If you have like a wedding coming up, I can make sure to put pieces that would go with a specific outfit into your box. Anything that's specific coming up, you can just let me know and I'll make sure to accommodate. So, yeah.
I mean, and same here. So we often get people who like a certain jewelry piece, and because we work with the artisans directly as they're making them, oftentimes we're able to make those accommodations. So for example, the bag that Erica mentioned, I specifically asked the artisan for that specific color.
Do you want me to go get it?
Oh, sure.
Okay, I'm also not going to go get it.
It's a different shade of brown, than we had in. And so I made sure that she got that. Another thing, jewelry replication. So there were a pair of, hoops that I loved that I lost, wasn't able to wear. And so I was able to work with an artisan to say, hey, can you build this specific style? So we do that as well. Anything else you want to add, Liz?
Yeah, we build it and put our own twist because we never
Yes.
want to take somebody's proprietary design and replicate it en masse, you know. So I just wanted to put out that caveat.
Facts.
We're not gonna look at somebody's work, and we look at people's work as we may look at it as more like inspiration. Versus versus replication. Yeah, you know, we're about pretty, I love Marquise, that concept of a jewelry subscription box. I think that's a really awesome concept. And, you know, one of the things that we do, so we do a lot of like what we like to call like trunk shows, where we welcome people into our homes, and it's a stress-free, we're not trying to sell you. We brunch, we have some wine, we put out like, you know, jewelry, and, you know, we are able to talk about you know, what your style is. So I think one of our biggest things is we really want to create an experience for our community. We don't want to sell you. We want to create that experience. We want you to leave and love the pieces as much as we do. So we put a lot of love into them, and we want you to leave with a piece that evokes that same emotion.
Okay, so we have one other question, but I'm going to show you guys this bag first because it's amazing. It's like, so it's giant. It's so big. It's like it's a messenger bag. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's just so gorgeous. I tested it out last night to make sure my laptop would fit in there. It does. It's like butter soft, you guys. It's just, I'm like, I literally was walking around the house in my pajamas and after doing the pickup. He's like, oh my God. I was like modeling it for him. On in my like overnight man.
Thank you.
Thank you, Erica.
No, it's amazing. And I've been eyeing it for a while, and you said, wait, we're getting in one that's in even better quality. I want you to have that one, which a lot of people would not do. They'd be like, oh, you want it here, I'm just going to sell this to you. So I appreciate that too. So now the question we got, and even I'm like, okay, this is a doozy as a stylist. But so her person says, as a push present, my husband got me a ruby and diamond tennis bracelet, which is their birthstones. And while it's beautiful, she has zero idea when or which one to wear it. Her jewelry is silver and gold, so it doesn't go with everything. But he mentioned that she never wears it, and she's like, to wear. So do we have some ideas on where she could wear it or how she could wear it? I'll go first, because I'm more used to people like springing this kind of stuff on me. They're like, oh, you're a stylist, I have a question. So I kind of have two thoughts initially. Obviously, you can wear it when you're going out and you're getting dressed up. And I actually wouldn't mix it with a lot of other things. I would let the bracelet kind of be your statement. So if you're wearing a little black dress, a little red dress, or something like that, and then you're just wearing the bracelet and maybe like a dainty ring on the opposite hand or something like that to go with it. And then you can pair it with like a pair of chandelier earrings or statement earrings or something like that. But actually let the bracelet kind of do the talking. The other thing I think you could do is go the complete opposite way and be like, you know what? I'm wearing jeans and sneakers, and I'm going to wear this V-neck white t-shirt, and I'm going to throw this fancy bracelet on just because I can. And like, it's almost that it's so opposite that it ends up working. You know, like, have you ever seen those girls and they have like jeans and a t-shirt on, but then they have like a pair of giant statement earrings, and you're like, I would never think to do that, but she looks so cool doing it. It's kind of like that. It's almost that it's like so the opposite of how you think someone would wear it that it ends up looking really cool, and like we know it's intentional because we're telling you to do it, but someone seeing you is just going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, she's just a real cool girl. Or you could even get some other faux diamond and faux pieces of like rings and stuff like that and stack it in there and mix it in there and wear it like a stacked jewelry or stacked bracelets, so you can mix and match it, I would say. But you have to like, I feel like we sometimes get these pieces of jewelry and we're like really intimidated by them because they're diamond and rubies, or like my wedding jewelry. For a long time I wouldn't wear the jewelry that I wore on my wedding day because I was like, well, this is my wedding day jewelry. And one day I was like, screw it, I'm gonna wear this ring I wore on my wedding because it's cute. Okay. So I think you have to like, we have to stop being like intimidated by the jewelry and be like, it's just another accessory. And like, yeah, it was more expensive and it's a little bit fancier, but it's still just an accessory. And so if you think about it and like, how can I layer it? How can I stack it? How can I mix and match it with other things? I think that'll take some of the like, ooh, factor out of it, and you'll just start wearing it like every day with whatever you're putting on. Do you guys have thoughts?
I fully agree. I love an unexpected piece with casual clothing. I think it just changes everything. It gives you like a very effortless chic sort of look. And you know, with statement jewelry, it's very similar to that good china. You should always break it out then. You always have to wait for when the guests come. You too should also like enjoy it. So you know, I hold the same rules for bold jewelry, that sometimes, like you said, a cool pair of even slide on sneakers, some skinny jeans, a little like white tee, and just like a piece that's unexpected is always a very kind of effortless look.
Yeah, I agree. And I loved your idea about stacking. I think that's a great way to kind of like make it look kind of cool and trendy at the same time. But I love when people wear expensive stuff casually. I just feel like it's just a way to like let you know what the status
Let's
is.
hold them for a little bit.
Right.
Wear casual bag. I love that.
Chanel earrings, it's nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Tuesday over here.
Put this on. Diamond bracelet. Thanks.
I agree. Plus, it's a push present, so I just feel like the fact that you pushed a baby out, you should be able to wear it whenever, wherever you want.
Yes.
I feel like I'm sleeping in it today. Because my push present was a bag. I wanted like a fancy bag with my initials, like my married initials on it, because all my fancy bag had my maiden initials on it. And so I'm like, I don't care if this is a giant overnight weekend bag. I'm carrying this to work. Yeah.
You will see the bag.
I do not care. I think it's kind of like the same thing. Is you just, girl, you earned that, okay?
Right.
I just think, I feel like, did you mention she said she mostly wore silver, but was it in a gold setting, or was it a
she
silver
has
setting?
silver or gold, so it goes with every. She said my jewelry. Yeah, so my jewelry is all silver or gold, so it goes with everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Because I was going to also say, like, I know a lot of people tend to like either gold or silver, but I love mixing and matching gold and silver. I will wear both in an outfit, and I just think that's a trend as well. So
Very much so. So yeah, I would say try mixing it with some other stuff, but yeah, just like throw it on because you can.
Right.
Does anyone else have any questions before we wrap up? Because we are at 12:30. I want to be sensitive to everyone's time. But I will give you guys one last second to ask any final questions. And I will just remind you that if you look in the chat, you can get links to everyone's website, everyone's Facebook, everyone's Instagram, so you can check out what they're doing. If you need last minute Mother's Day gifts, these three ladies are here to help you. I would vouch any person that gets that gift from me, a last minute birthday gift, another push present, whatever it is. I definitely would recommend something from any of them because I personally vouch for them in their products and in working with them. And if you have questions, I know that they're all open to you guys reaching out to them, shooting them a message, asking questions. They've been fantastic. But it doesn't look like we have any more questions. So I am going to let everyone go. I want to thank Marquis, Sarita, and Liz for joining me this morning. This was such a fun chat.
It was.
It was such a good time. And then I want to thank, obviously, all of our participants for joining us today, for coming in and learning a bit about jewelry and how to style it. And I want to let you guys know, this is recorded, so there will be a replay available if you're like, oh, I forgot, I want to see those earrings again, so I know what to look for on the website or different things like that. So give me a few hours and it'll be up and posted by the end of today on the website, and I'll also share it with Marquis and Liz and Sarita so that they can share it with their networks too. And as always, if you guys have questions, you can hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, my website, all of that stuff. But I am so thankful for you ladies, and I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their Saturday.
Great.
You too. Thank you, Erica.
I appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Take care, everyone.
Take
Bye.
care. Have a great weekends.
Yes, and happy Mother's Day.
Yes, happy Mother's Day to all the moms. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.